deadliest outlaws who rode roughshod over the law, leaving a trail of legends and bullet holes. From infamous gunslingers to cunning train robbers, prepare to meet the figures who defined an era of lawlessness and grit. Kingfisher. Kingfisher was a Texas nightmare who combined fashion sense with homicidal efficiency. Newspapers claimed he killed 26 men, though the real number might be much higher. What made Fisher unique was his transformation from ordinary horse thief to fashionista executioner. After being pardoned from prison, he reinvented himself as a dandy, wearing tailored suits, expensive boots, and never appearing in public without his handlebar mustache perfectly waxed. But the silk shirts hid blood-soaked secrets. When he established his ranch in Dimmitt County, it became a haven for drifters and outlaws, a criminal enterprise disguised as legitimate business. His violence was calculated and professional. When Texas Ranger William Donovan tried to arrest him, Fisher didn't fight fair. He waited until Donovan was dismounted and shot him in the back. The ranger died pleading for mercy, but Fisher simply adjusted his necktie and rode away. But here's the psychological twist. Fisher eventually became a deputy sheriff, proving that some predators prefer to hunt with badges rather than against them. His dual identity, lawman by day, outlaw by night, made him more dangerous than any purely criminal killer. He understood both sides of the law and exploited them ruthlessly, until his death in the Vaudeville Variety Theater, where he and Ben Thompson were both killed in a shootout over a card game dispute. Billy the Kid, William H. Bonney. Born Henry McCarty, but better known as Billy the Kid, this young outlaw became a legendary figure in the American Old West. His short but impactful life was marked by a series of escapades, starting from his first arrest for theft at age 16. He rose to prominence during the Lincoln County War, a violent conflict between rival factions in New Mexico Territory, where he sided with one of the groups. Billy was known for his quick draw and charming yet ruthless personality. He was credited with killing several men, though the exact number remains debated, with estimates ranging from 4 to 21. His life ended at just 21 years old when he was ambushed and shot by Sheriff Pat Garrett in Fort Sumner, New Mexico, solidifying his place as one of the most iconic figures of the Wild West. John Wesley Hardin was a notorious gunfighter and outlaw of the American Old West, known for his quick temper and even quicker draw. Born in Texas, the son of a Methodist preacher, Hardin claimed to have killed his first man at age 15. Throughout his life, he was involved in numerous shootouts and confrontations, often claiming self-defense. He was known for his superb marksmanship and his ability to evade capture for extended periods. Hardin's body count is often estimated to be around 27 men, though he famously boasted of having killed more. He spent over 17 years in prison for murder, during which he studied law. After his release, he attempted to practice law, but eventually returned to his old ways, ultimately being shot and killed by another lawman, John Selman, in El Paso, Texas. Clay Allison. Robert Clay Allison was a cattle rancher and gunfighter who gained a fearsome reputation in the American Old West for his violent encounters and unpredictable nature. Known for his imposing stature and eccentric behavior, Allison was involved in a number of deadly feuds and shootouts, primarily in Texas and New Mexico. He was often described as a man who sought out trouble and was quick to resort to violence. While the exact number of men he killed is not definitively known, he was widely feared and respected as a dangerous individual. His most famous confrontation was with Chunk Colbert, a fellow gunfighter whom Allison killed after Colbert allegedly tried to ambush him. Allison died in a wagon accident rather than a gunfight, a somewhat anticlimactic end for such a notorious figure. Sam Bass, the train robber who killed a deputy. Sam Bass started as an honest man. By the end, he'd become one of Texas' most wanted killers. His transformation began when he robbed a Union Pacific train of $65,000, equivalent to $1.8 million today. But it was during a stagecoach robbery where everything changed. When Deputy Sheriff A.W. Grimes tried to stop him, Bass didn't hesitate. He shot the lawman dead in cold blood. The manhunt that followed was massive. Texas Rangers, local posses, and federal marshals all hunting for one man. They eventually cornered him in a barn where he was shot multiple times. But Bass wouldn't go quietly. He lived long enough to confess everything except where he hid the money. That treasure has never been found. The Sundance Kid, international killer. Before becoming Butch Cassidy's right-hand man, Harry Longaball was already deadly. The Sundance Kid didn't just rob trains, he killed across multiple countries. From the American West to Argentina to Bolivia, his violence knew no borders. When a Bolivian payroll convoy refused to surrender during his final heist, Sundance didn't negotiate. He opened fire, killing several soldiers before making his escape. The true number of his victims remains unknown because so many of his crimes spanned across continents. What we do know is that when the Bolivian army finally cornered him and Cassidy in 1908, neither man surrendered. They fought to the death in a small village, taking multiple soldiers down with them. The bullets flew so fast that local villagers thought the American Revolution had arrived in Bolivia. Butch Cassidy, mastermind of mayhem. Robert Leroy Parker, better known as Butch Cassidy, was more than just a bank robber. He was a criminal strategist who turned theft into high art. The Wild Bunch gang he led wasn't just successful because of their guns. They mapped escape routes, established safe houses, and maintained such discipline that they executed multiple train robberies without a single gang member being caught for years. But make no mistake, when violence was necessary, Cassidy delivered. During the famous Belle Fourche robbery, when Pinkerton agents boxed them in, Cassidy's gang fought their way out, leaving several lawmen dead in the street. He was so successful that banks across the West lived in constant fear. One banker reported that after a Cassidy robbery, his staff was traumatized into silence for weeks. Robbing banks was just business. Tom Horn, the CIA assassin of the Wild West. Before there was the CIA, there was Tom Horn, a professional killer so skilled that governments hired him to eliminate their enemies. Unlike typical outlaws who robbed banks or rustled cattle, Horn was a contract assassin who killed for money. His fee? Up to $500 per hit, equivalent to $15,000 today for a single murder. Horn's targets weren't just outlaws. They were ranchers, politicians, and landowners whose deaths benefited his employers. His method was psychological warfare combined with brutal efficiency. He would stalk his victims for weeks, learning their routines before choosing the perfect moment to strike. What made him different was his military precision. He never left witnesses, never missed his mark, and was never officially convicted of any of his confirmed kills.